Hi, in this lesson, we're going to look at how we can use for loops to iterate through each item in a list. Let's go. Here we are visited once again by our students waiting to get into school. If we wanted to print out each student's name in a numbered list, we could use some commands like this. In each command, we are printing a number and then the item that is accessed at each index value in our list. But this is kind of tedious. Imagine if our list had 20 items. What about 100 items? This could get out of hand very quickly. Thankfully, we can use for loops with lists. Remember that a for loop is used to repeat a set of commands a given number of times. We use the syntax for I in range and give a number inside parentheses. The I in the for loop is a variable that we can use inside our commands. This value counts, generally from 0 to the number given, increasing by 1 each time. Remember that the value given to the range function is when the loop stops and is not included. Let's see how we can use for loops with lists. This program starts by defining a list. On line 2, we are initiating a for loop with a value of 5, since that is how many items I have in my list and how many times I want the loop to repeat. When the loop is first initiated, it is given a value of 0. Since 0 is less than the max value of 5, the loop hops to the commands inside and prints the value saved at the 0th index in the list, which in this case is John. The loop returns back to line 2, where I is increased by 1 and becomes 1. When the command is run now, the value at index 1 is accessed, and we see Mia printed to the console. The loop returns back again, and the value of I is increased once more, which it's now 2. When the command inside is run, Leo, the value at index 2, is now printed. The loop returns, and the value of I is increased to 3. The command inside is run, and Reina is printed. The loop returns once again, and I becomes 4. The value at index 4, Remy, is printed to the console. The loop returns back, but it has now reached the stopping point of 5, and the loop is finished. This is a great way to access items in a list, but there can be some hiccups in this structure. What would happen if we removed an item from our list before looping over the values? In this case, we are removing Mia from the list and then looping over the items. Well, when we run this, we will get an error because we no longer have 5 items in our list. When we get to the last iteration of the loop, the command is trying to access an item with the index value of 4, which does not exist in our list anymore, so an index error will occur. How can we fix this? We can use the len function to control how many times our loop iterates or repeats. Now, when we remove an item, it doesn't cause our loop to break because it is only going to repeat once for each item in the list. And remember, that value of I can be used anywhere inside the commands in our for loop. If we wanted to create a numbered list, as was shown at the beginning of the video, we can use that value of I inside the print statement. The important thing to remember here is that the index values count from 0 to 4. So if we want our list to be numbered from 1 to 5, we need to add 1 to that value of I each time. We also need to cast that value to a string to be able to concatenate it with the string that holds the student's name. In this lesson, we learned how to use for loops to iterate through items in a list.